Reading in bed. Reading in bed.
Hello and welcome to Reading in Bed Extracts with me, Amanda Steele, and today I'm going to be reading an extract from my Memories of a Future Life written by Roz Morris. Within the soundproof walls, the candles knew the truth. This wasn't Nirvana. It was a building in the grimy backlands of Clapham Junction Station. In the yoga studio, all was hushed, but the candle flame stirred to agitated vibration as the train passed. Delicate instruments shivering to an influence none of us could hear or feel. The truth was, I shouldn't be here, lying on a purple slip of mat in a row of people who all looked like they'd fallen from the sky. Being told by a barefoot girl to empty my mind, to quiet my thoughts and just be. Quiet was something I'd had too much of in the past few weeks. If this were a proper day, I'd be at my Yamaha grand piano sending glorious noise out of its black wing. For hours I would see only the black and white keys. My reflection in the lacquer black bodywork swaying across the gold lettering, my hands lifting and falling. And today being the first Monday of the month, I should have been at my tutor's house. That was before the pain. Now on this first Monday, instead of dancing up a storm of demi-semi-quavers on his Hamburg Steinway, I was lying on a wooden floor on a sticky mat trying to be quiet. I hadn't done yoga before. I was trying to like it. I'd heard so many people say they loved it with a passion. But so far, I didn't get it. We'd been here for ages and all we seemed to be doing was lying down. Although the instructor didn't call it lying down. She called it a posture. Shavasana, she intoned as she passed me at a serene pace, toes spreading with each step. It means corpse pose. In the mirror, I could see the clock. We had only been here 10 minutes. How time drags when you're a corpse. But I'm not good at things that need to be done slowly. It must be the pianist temperament. Piano's a percussion instrument. They can't give you long swelling notes like strings or woodwind. You need to keep moving, keep the pulse. The instructor continued her slow talk. Think of nothing, she said. Absolute nothing. The rhythm of her feet suggested a tempo, and then the slow movement of Beethoven's Emperor Concerto. That moment when the orchestra goes quiet and the piano comes in with a languorous meandering scale. No, that wasn't nothing. Try again. I looked at the white ceiling tiles and tried to be blank like they were. They weren't blank. They had a pattern like they'd been designed to resemble something. What? Wood grain? Crazy paving? No, that wasn't nothing. Candle flames trembled. They knew, even if we didn't, that another train was passing. With somewhere to go. I studied the orange tongues, tried to pick up the iron beat drumming into the topsoil, the bedrock, the bricks that made this building, the boards of this wooden floor. For heaven's sake, was this all we were going to do? I expected yoga to be more enthralling, overwhelming, engulfing. The instructor reached the front of the room and folded into a cross-legged position between the candles. Feel your chakras aligning, she said. Feel your chi flowing through your meridians. Meridians? In the last few weeks I'd had my stuffing searched inside out. They'd found arteries, veins, nerves, muscles, tendons, ligaments, joint capsules, synovial fluid, long bones, and the hollows in their core, carpals, metacarpals, phalanges like witch talons. I'd been ultrasounded, CT'd, X-rayed, Y-rayed, Z-rayed. What they didn't find ever was chakras, meridians, or chi. Time your breathing with your heartbeat. Feel your heartbeat through your temples. I heard a sound behind me, a sort of muted rasp. No, surely it couldn't be, not in the holy yoga class. Yes, smiled the instructor, let go of everything. Let go of self. Let go and just be. It was well past time for me to let go. I stood up and folded my mat. I tried to do it quietly, but the purple plastic made a sticky slapping noise, which earned irritated looks from some of the corpses. No one scowled at the corpse who farted, though. I dumped my mat on the rack and grabbed my shoes. Being trainers, not slippers or hobbity clogs like everyone else had, the teacher had placed them reprovingly at the door, and I left. The club was windowless like an airport. I passed from yoga studio to changing room to reception without a clue of what weather to prepare for. When I reached reception, the front door swung open and the horrible truth greeted me. Heavy, hissing rain. Oh great, I had a 20-minute walk home. I sipped up my inadequate fleece and prepared for the miserable journey. Are you walking? Asked the receptionist. Do you want to borrow one of the club umbrellas? I can't, I said. I've got RSI. RSI? Is that a class? A woman pushed in through the doors, her grey tracksuit streaked with rain, her hair in dripping straggles. I hesitated, looking at the jolly brolly propped by the reception back office, but I couldn't take it. In medieval times there was a kind of torture where your hands were bound in soaking cloths. As they dried, they squeezed your hands like little birds in a vice, an inescapable ache hammering in the bones. If I carried an umbrella for half an hour, that's how it would feel. I'd tried yoga because my specialist had run out of other solutions. The pain began a few months ago, after I finished my work at the keyboard, as the last chords left the iron frame and steel strings. The penalty came creeping in, persistent neon flashes deep in the structure of my wrists, fingers and arms. If you were gardening and you felt pains like that, you'd stop and take yourself to the doctor. I ignored it. All musicians had aches and twinges. I'd seen violinists put down their instruments after a long rehearsal and take 2 entire minutes to uncurl their neck. Music is physical. Playing a grand concert is hard work. The action is much stiffer than the household upright. To bring out their big sound takes real strength. You might play passage of 16ths at a tempo of 120 beats per minute, which is 4 notes per second, every second, and you might do it for hours. So of course we get sore. I thought it was just a bad patch. I started to be more careful away from the piano. Umbrellas were avoided. I stopped opening jars, tins likewise. But instead of relief, each week needed another sacrifice. Years before, the gauze of short sight had descended like a set of veils until I couldn't read the music in front of me. Now this damage closed down my whole life in millimetres. Sometimes I woke in bed at night with a feeling like my arms were long gloves, stroked by wire brushes. A horrible, painful prickling that went on for hours, as though my nerves were a crackling storm. A month ago, I was on my way to the E&O rehearsal room. 3 mornings a week I played accompaniment for opera and ballet rehearsals. I gripped the door handle and gave it a good twist. Then I was standing still, paralysed, because it felt as though my entire wrist was about to snap. The conductor found me by the door, waiting for the courage to move. He looked straight at my hands. Just warming up, I said. Musicians don't talk about injury. If a concert organiser or ensemble suspects you might not play, they'll find someone else. I used to be a pianist, he said. Now I can't touch a piano. Go and see a specialist. I did. The specialist did his test, said I had repetitive strain injury, and told me to rest for a month. For 3 weeks now, I hadn't touched the piano at all. And if you want to read the rest of the book, I'll post the links so you can follow Roz and you can also buy a book. So thanks for listening and tune in next time. Bye everyone.
Reading and bed. Reading and bed.